Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, man. Terrence Bud Crawford did a recent interview with Max Kellerman. I guess it was for Max on boxing, and basically, he was just talking about future opponents, what he wants to do, and Max lined up all the fights he would like for Bud to participate in, and it was ironic all of the fights that Max Kellerman said that he would like for Bud to fight happened to be, well, the mythical opposite side of the street. He mentioned Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence. I think he mentioned um, Danny Garcia, and I think he mentioned Kell Brook. Now, Kell Brook is a matchroom fighter, but you might as well disregard Kell Brook because we all know Kell Brook is going to. Oh, excuse me. He mentioned. He mentioned Ugas. Now it's kind of funny when you think about it. All those fights were fights that we wanted to see, and for whatever reason, the fights fell through. And Bud gave an interesting take on Sean Porter. He said he would still be interested in that fight, but he said really Sean Porter don't have a belt. And he said when Sean Porter had a belt, he said that basically Sean Porter flat out said, hey, he not interested in a fight. Look, at the end of the day, people get mad at me because I bring these issues out. Everything Bud said is true. And he talked about a lot of different things. He basically said his contract requires him not to take a pay cut. He said he has what his minimum is, his guarantee, and then he has, well, what he can make if an extraordinary fight comes his way. Now, we all know Errol Spence is out of the picture for the time being. Errol Spence ain't even in the equation, at least for the next, if we're lucky, 6 months, 7 months before we even talk about them possibly fighting. I believe that the Errol Spence fight is more out of reach than it is within reach. We all know what's going on. Ugas had a chance to fight Bud. He decided to go another direction. Whatever you believe with Sean Porter, whatever his team tells me versus what the media say, that fight seemed to have failed through. Keith Thurman is still an option. Like I said, Kell Brook, he don't want no smoke. Danny Garcia turned down the fight. And as I said before, the reason why I had issues with Keith Thurman and the Sean Porter fight, even though I think those would be exceptional fights, a lot of people cannot put their personal feelings towards Bud to the side versus looking at the overall big picture. I don't have any personal feelings towards Bud. I don't know the man, and I'm just keeping it 100. But the problem that I'm afraid what would happen, let's just say Keith Thurman miraculously lands the Bud fight, and let's just say Bud wins that fight. People gonna call Keith Thurman a Pacquiao leftover. If he goes the Sean Porter route, they gonna say Sean Porter is a Errol Spence leftover, even though Sean Porter already had previous losses to, Kell Brook and Keith Thurman. And then they would say Sean Porter lost his last fight, as well as they would say the same about Keith Thurman. So that's the problem. Now, some of these people that would be saying that happen to look like us. And that's why I've tried to stay clear away from the Bud versus, you know, Errol Spence stuff. Because like I said, unfortunately, it got turned into a Ali Frazier situation where instead of it just becoming who you are a fan of, is now turned into, well, if you not an Errol Spence fan, if you ain't root for Errol Spence, you some kind of sellout or you some kind of coon or something. And I just think that's absurd. And some people have just did that. Like I said, this is my thing. Bud also talked about Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez. Now, keep in mind, Ricky Hatton, he moved up to fight Floyd Mayweather. He moved up to 147. And then I think he went down for Manny Pacquiao. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I think he went down. I think he fought Manny Pacquiao, I think at 140, or they fought at some kind of catch weight or something. I can't remember. I'm sure somebody put in the comment section, but I think he went down in weight to fight Manny Pacquiao. But he fought Floyd at 147. So if he fights Josh Taylor and he beats Josh Taylor, then he beats Jose Ramirez, is he going to get credit for that? You know, people going to say, oh, well, you know, Jose Ramirez came up from, had to move up a weight class. But keep in mind, Bud fought at 140. But people gonna do that shit. You know, when you've been covering boxing and talking about boxing for as long as I have, that's gonna be the go-to excuse. And don't get me wrong, I done did that before back in my early days. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's a difference between moving up one weight class and then moving up 2 weight classes. Now, Jose Ramirez has already been saying he was going to move up anyway. You know, it's a difference between what happened with Kell Brook versus you know, Triple G. Kell Brook had to move up 2 weight classes. So that's very difficult for the most part. But nevertheless, it was a very interesting interview, and it's on YouTube. Bud is, I don't know, man. Bud is being shut out, whether people like it or not. You know, I think, like I said, I don't like it, but his options are very limited right now. But based off the fact that you have people say he fighting bums when he's tried to fight the best guys out there, and for some strange reason you can't get these dudes to sign the contract. So you have to look at somebody. But nevertheless, just wanted to give my opinion. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.